Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Numbers, the 23rd chapter. And Balaam said unto Balak, Build me here 7 altars, and prepare me here 7 oxen and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam had spoken, and Balak and Balaam offered on every altar a bullock and a ram. And Balaam said unto Balak, Stand by thy burnt offerings, and I will go. Peradventure the Lord will come to meet me, and whatsoever he sheweth me, I will tell thee. And he went to an high place, because this was he knew, right, what the customs or the practices were as a diviner, right? Like when they would take an auspicious cease, or whatever it is they would do to get a message from whatever deity it is that they're trying to gain insight to, right? As we read previously about how the diviners got answers into matters. So Balaam goes further, all right, on the high place to see if he can receive a message of the Lord. And God met Balaam, and he said unto him, I have prepared 7 altars, and I have offered upon every altar a bullock and a ram. And the Lord put a word in Balaam's mouth, meaning he gave him a message, and said, Return unto Balak, and thus thou shalt speak. So this message that I've told you, that's what you're going to go and tell him. And he returned unto him, and lo, he stood by his burnt sacrifice, he and all the princes of Moab. And he took up this parable, that is Balaam, and said, Balak the king of Moab hath brought me from Aram, that is Syria, out of the mountains of the east, saying, Come, curse me Jacob, and come, defy Israel. How shall I curse whom God hath not cursed? Or how shall I defy whom the Lord hath not defied? And what he's saying here is, Balak has called Balaam to come and curse Israel. But how is he supposed to curse the people who the Lord has not decided to curse? It's not in the Lord's cards to curse these people. And how can he condemn people whom the Lord has not condemned? For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Dealing with Jacob, right? Lo, the people shall dwell alone, and shall not be reckoned amongst the nations. And what this is saying is these are basically a special people, right? They're different and they're separated. They're not counted as part of the rest of the nations. And I'll read this in another translation to highlight that. NLT, it says, I see them from the cliff tops. I watch them from the hills. I see a people who live by themselves and set apart from other nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob? Which is to say, who they're innumerable, right? The dust here is a representation of their descendants, the descendants of Jacob, right? So who can count the people of Jacob, and number the 4th part of Israel, right? Who can even number or count a 4th of them? Let me die the death of the righteous, and let my last end be like his. And this is Balaam envying, and this goes to show you that he's not an Israelite. He was envying the life of an Israelite, right? Wishing that he was an Israelite, as he's saying, as he refers to them as the righteous. And let my last end be like his, because he knew the blessing, right, that would come upon Israel. And Balak said unto Balaam, What hast thou done unto me? I took thee to curse mine enemies, and behold, thou hast blessed them altogether. So I called you here to come and curse them, and you blessing them. And he answered and said, Must I not take heed to speak that which the Lord hath put in my mouth? And Balak said unto him, Come, I pray thee, unto me, or come, I pray thee, with me, unto another place, So Balaam's response was, listen, I can only say what the Lord has put in my mouth, the message he has given me. So Balak says, okay, you know what? Just, all right, why don't you come with me, right? And let's go to a different area, a different high place, from whence thou mayest see them, that thou shalt see but the uttermost or the utmost part of them, and shall not see them all, because there's so many. So he's saying, I'm gonna take you to another high place, and you can get a different angle at them, but you won't be able to see all of them, but you'll see a part of them, and maybe there you can curse them for me, right? And curse me them from thence. And he brought him into the field of Zophim, to the top of Pisgah, and built 7 altars, and offered a bullock and a ram on every altar. And he said unto Balak, stand here by the burnt offering, or by thy burnt offering, while I meet the Lord Yahweh yonder. And the Lord met Balaam, and put a word in his mouth, and said, go again unto Balak, and say thus. When he came to him, and say thus, right? So basically he met him, he gave him the message, he said, this is what you're going to say now. And so when Balaam came back, right, when he came to him, behold, he stood by his burnt offering, and the princes of Moab with him. And Balak said unto him, what hath the Lord spoken? And he took up his parable, and said, rise up, Balak, and hear. Hearken unto me, thou son of Zippor. God is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make good? Behold, I have received commandment to bless, and he hath blessed, and I cannot reverse it. So he was emphasizing here to Balak that this God, right, Yahweh, he isn't the kind of God that says something and then goes back on it and then so on. No. All right. Once he says something, that's what he's going to do. And the thing he said was for me to bless these people, and I did. And now they have been blessed. So I can't reverse that. He hath not beheld iniquity in Jacob, neither hath he seen perverseness in Israel. The Lord, the Lord his God is with him, and the shout of a king is among them. So basically, the Lord doesn't have any intention, okay, of bringing a curse upon his people. All right, and let's read this here again, right? In NLT, it says, no misfortune is in his plan for Jacob. No trouble is in store for Israel. For the Lord their God is with them. He has been proclaimed their king. That is, that shout of a king is among them. God brought them out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of an unicorn. Now, a unicorn is not talking about Pegasus from Hercules, right? It's not talking about the magical, mythical creature. It's talking about like an ox, right? But it's referred to as a unicorn because it had there are variations of them that have like a one horn, and these were typically the symbol of strength, okay, because of their size and their actual raw power. That's why here he likens, right, the Lord to being like the strength of Israel, but also likened unto a unicorn, just to symbolize strength. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. And this doesn't, because you'll see like today, right? You have Israelites that do get enchanted, right? That divinations do come against them. But the point that Balaam was making here is, you cannot curse this nation of people. You can't curse the whole of these people here, right? To say like this is now a cursed nation. Nobody has the power to do that but the Most High. Okay. And that's why no matter what, even today with all the different enchantments and so on that Esau Edom pushes out, you have the Lord's elect, which won't fall for it. Right. And then the scriptures say all Israel shall be saved. So the only, like, one example here is when the Lord put a curse upon Israel, pursuant to Deuteronomy 28, because of our disobedience. That is an example of an enchant or a curse, you could say, that the Lord put upon the nation, and it's just been on us since, and we're subject to it. The Lord did that, right? No other nation could do that, and that's the point that Balaam was stressing here. You can't curse these people because the Lord is with them. According to this time, it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, what hath God wrought? And I'll read this again, right, in a different wording. It says, for now, this is in the NLT, just that last portion. For now it will be said of Jacob, what wonders God has done for Israel. Okay, in the NIV it says, it will now be said of Jacob and of Israel, see what God has done. Behold, the people shall rise up as a great lion, and lift up himself as a young lion. And he shall he shall not lie down until he eat of the prey. Meaning they're not gonna rest until they devour their adversaries and drink the blood of the slain. And Balak said unto Balaam, neither curse them. He said, okay, look, if you're not gonna bless them, then don't. If you're not gonna curse them, then just don't do either. Don't bless them. Don't curse them. Don't do anything. So he says here, neither curse them at all, nor bless them at all. But Balaam answered and said unto Balak, told not I thee, saying all that the Lord Yahweh speaketh, that I must do? So didn't I tell you that whatever it is that he tells me to do, that's what I got to do? So if he says bless and don't curse, I'm going to bless. And Balak said unto Balaam, come, I pray thee, I will bring thee on to another place. Peradventure it will please God that thou mayest curse me them from thence. So you know what? Maybe this isn't a good place. Let me take you to another place, another high place, and maybe there we do a sacrifice. It'll be pleasing enough to this God that he'll allow you to curse these people for me. And Balak brought Balaam on to the top of Peor, that looketh toward Jeshimon. And Balaam said unto Balak, build me here 7 altars, and prepare me here 7 bullocks and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam had said, and offered a bullock and a ram on every altar. And that brings us to the end of the book of Numbers, the 23rd chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Ruach HaKodesh. And until next time, Shalom.